Greetings, fellow Poltermasters. Greetings, fellow Poltermasters. I'm Rowsell, and it's once again time to crash scans with this very special ranking your setups video. Now, if you guys did not know, I have a Twitter account. It's at Rowsell. And on there, I tweeted a little tweet saying, hey, if you guys want me to rate your setup, send me a little picture of it, and I'll give it a rating of 1 to 5. 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. I will not say anything negative about it. That's the number one thing, is there's nothing bad about a setup, because everyone's setups is different. Most people have open spots. That's right. Most people have more area. Like, I'm one of the lucky ones that actually has a little area to put things out, but not a lot of people do. So I wanted to do something appreciative for you guys to do that. Now, if you see my face being really red, it's because I still have that towel up. I don't know if you've seen that episode of Honestly Half Hour where I had to put a blanket up and my face red. But if I lean back like this, it doesn't make it as red, which is where I'm going to be sitting. So the rankings are going to be coming up here on the screen. They're going to be up in this area, and I'm going to be rating them out of 1 to 5. Now, if you want to be part of this video in the future, simply put, follow me on Twitter. It is in the description like always. I'm very excited to show you these guys. There's a lot of them, so we're just going to go through all of them, and if you want to be in this video in the future and you want another one, let me know. So let's get it started. So our first one is from the Skylander dude. As you can see, very good setup. Now, the back context of this is Ryan, unfortunately, is in college, so he doesn't have a lot of his Skylanders. So this is his setup. And I gotta say, it's very simple, very simplest. It doesn't even have a portal. He lives the minimalistic life, and I absolutely love that. So you know what? Perfect 5 right off the bat. Because, you know what? Just Echo alone is a great Skylander to have. So, yeah, 5 right off the bat. Congrats, Ryan. So next up we have Mona from P5. This is all their ats, by the way, if you ever want to go follow them. This is their setup. You can see they have all their favorite Skylanders in one little spot. I absolutely love this. I think it looks great in my opinion. Just having your favorite Skylanders just with that, along with your games on the bottom. That's what I had before. In my old place I lived at, like the first time I opened up Crash the Skylands, this is what I had. I had just a shelf with all the games put on the bottom until new games came out, of course. So I really like this. This is a very simple setup. It's not something overblown. It has enough to show you the favorite Skylanders that they like. I really like that. So I'm going to give this, let's say, a 3 out of 5. Of course, you're going to see a lot of more exuberant ones that you see. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. I think this one is really good because you have your favorite Skylanders, and it's a perfect way to promote it. So Mona from P5, not only is Persona 5 a great game, but I do like your setup. And plus, you got the boy there, so, you know, bonus points even on top of that. So you probably get like a 36 out of 5 just because Bash is there. So next up is Oval8199, who sent me their setup. The picture's a little bit blurry, so I apologize for that, but they have their setup with their Switch and their Skylands around it. This is a really nice setup. I absolutely love this one. It's just very simple, plus you can be able to play the game super easy. A lot of people don't know they got the Switch. You can actually use them on the Switch itself, so you don't need a portal, but if you want to play the older games, of course. This is a really nice setup. It's very sleek, very clean. He has all the Skylanders that he likes using right in the front, and I really like the design on the bottom where he has the Skylanders surrounding the Switch. Nothing is getting blocked out, which is what I like. He got the little, what's it called, the ship in the background. Really like that one. Honestly, this is a really nice, clean setup. I'm also going to give this one a 3 out of 5. The only reason why I wouldn't give it a little bit higher is because there is a little bit of room, and there's some space in front of the Switch you could have used. So in the area in front of Spyro and Eruptor there, you have a little bit of space. You can put a couple more Skylanders, and you can even put a couple more Skylanders in front of Ninjini and Tree Rex. Just a little bit of thought. Now, of course, don't take this. Take this all with a grain of salt. Don't be upset if I give it a kind of lowerish rating. But this is a really nice setup. Your Switch looks super cool. This is an awesome setup. Alright, next up, as you can see, is CamDude584. Now, the reason I started with these, I'm at these ones now, is because the other ones sent to me private message, so I had to say them out like that. So, of course, this is CamDude584. He's actually a local fan. I met him a couple times now. Super chill guy. It's awesome. He can tell you I'm real. So we got his setup here. He gave us 4 different photos. He got the initial setup here, which seems like it's beside his bed, or it could be his actual bed frame, if I'm not mistaken. This looks awesome. I love the little setup. He uses everything perfectly. I love the actual setup on the top with the little 2 containers, where the container you can have the Skylander in it, and of course the setup where there's like that little slide. He also has a custom Skylander over there, if you haven't noticed. You got a Super Shot Stealth Elf shooting out some fire. Makes it a little bit better. And of course, we continue on because it did give us 4 photos. This looks very familiar, huh? Looks like for a future Skylander Survivor episode. So he has his, I guess, his favorite Skylanders. Unfortunately, it didn't really say what it was. But he does have all these Skylanders put on here, 1 of each element. Looks awesome. I think that's super sleek. Of course, all of his characters or his little vehicles are in front of his TV. So he's got all the vehicles set up there so you can grab them super easy, along with a Google Mini. Okay, Google. That's right. Oh, my phone just went off for saying that. And of course, the really cool thing, there's this little bag thing you can get that kind of stick them to the wall. So he has all the Imaginators and Superchargers on the wall since they are a little bigger figures. I think this looks pretty good. It looks really good overall. Like, it's a very nice looking setup. I absolutely love how he designed everything. His room is Skylanders. He is a huge Skylander fan. So I gotta give this one a very solid 5 out of 5. This is an amazing setup. He made this look awesome. He used every part of his room to make it look great. One of my favorites for sure. I absolutely love this. Cam, you did a good job, buddy. Absolutely love it. And if you don't know, Cameron actually did the photo all the way up there beside the, him and his sister, if I'm not mistaken, did that photo. So, there you go. So this next one is from Lemonlore 20. Supposedly it's a little bit outdated, but still, I always love these setups. This is the one where, like, of course, you see the Skylander boy and girl have their thing, and it kind of encourages you to do it yourself. I've always wanted to do something like this, but unfortunately every house I've lived in is not the house I own. So I can't just make shelves willy-nilly. I have to use what I have behind me, you know? This looks very sleek. You get to see every Skylander perfectly in line, every element represented. I do love the amiibos thrown up on the top too, so he has a different element, so it's not just Skylander content. This looks very sleek. I love the look of this. It's super easy, so you can know exactly where every Skylander is. You're like, oh, I need an air Skylander. There's an entire section full of it. Love that idea. This is a very, very nice looking photo, even though it is outdated. Probably one of my favorites. I'm going to give this a solid 5 out of 5 because this is what I want. This is what I would want for a setup. I would love to do something like this in the future. So if I ever own a house, I'm going to have to message you, Lemonlore. Hey, how you do that? Let me know. So now we have Fenugfox 001. His setup's a little messy, but I think it works. It does. It gives you a lot of personality, which I like. Because, of course, there's a couple Skylanders thrown in between, but it shows other things you're interested in. Which, me of all people, that setup behind me is exactly what that is. It gives you real personality. You have a lot of different things, like you have your TY Beanie Babies, you got some Hot Wheels, you got some Bakugans, you got a little Ditto in the middle, which I noticed. A lot of things I like about this just because it's not just Skylanders. It shows that you're who you are and what you enjoy. And it's very simple. You've got a Disney Infinity character, you got Mr. Incredible. This is a very cool setup. I like it. It's very simple. It looks like it's probably the thing over your bed, like a headboard, if I'm not mistaken. This is very nice. Now, of course, I will give it a 3 out of 5 just because, you know, elaborate setups are like the biggest, ooh, let's get the rules. But this is really nice. I love the fact that you showed me this and really made it, like, amazing because it shows everything you're into. And that's what I like. So thank you for showing me that, Fenugfox. This is a really cool setup. I like it. Zach Noonan 3 showed me the 4 boys. I guess this is 4 favorite Skylanders, 4 bros, sorry. It's 4 favorite Skylanders. Of course, you have Washbuckler, Pop Fizz, Mega Ram Spyro, and Stealth Up that I think is missing an arm, if I'm not mistaken. Brave. Notice you got a PS Vita in the back. Shout out to the PS Vita. You got a Pac-Man machine. If you look really close on the bottom of that big blur, I think it's turbocharged Donkey Kong. And on the left, I think that might be Power Blue Splat. Crash, that's a Smurf, you dummy. I know, I'm getting you going. So I really like this. This just shows that he uses his favorite Skylanders, just like showing them off, and I love that. It's not really a setup, it's more of like a, hey, here's the Skylanders I enjoy playing. So I'm not really going to give this one a rating because it's not really a setup, but I really do like this. I think this is really cool. Now I know, you're like, Crash, you rated Skylander dudes. It's a joke. Ryan's a friend of mine. But I really like this. Thanks for sending it along, Zach. So Ghastly G4377, I'm bad at reading usernames, didn't really have a setup. He has most of them in stories, but he wanted to show off his Snowderdash. And I do want to show this one off because this is really cool too. It literally shows another thing about him. He's a fan of Dragon Ball Z, he's a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! As you can see there, and also Bakugan. I think that's a Bakugan on top. And of course, he won a Snowderdash in a bidding war. He had to crack heads in a bidding war to get it. It's a Skyline I don't have, so it's pretty cool. So another one I'm not really going to rate, but I wanted to show it off. Thank you, Ghastly, for sending this along. Alright, to the man, the myth, and legend himself. This is Victor of Saving Skylands. This is the boy. He appeared out of nowhere in the last year and has just took fire in the Skylander community. Generally one of the most humble, down-to-life dudes of all time. And look how cool his setup is. If I wanted to talk about a Skylander setup that expresses who you are and what you love, this is the definition. I absolutely love this setup. The desk and everything looks perfect in the middle of the room, along with his Skylanders a little bit off to the side. He got the shell stuff, so you can have Skylanders everywhere. Along with that, he does have a couple picture frames and things up, I guess, going through, showing like what he cares about, which is family and stuff like that. that. And he also has a couple things up top with Marvel and a little spiral pop vinyl. He's a big Marvel guy too. This setup is amazing. It looks so good. Definitely one of the best ones we're going to look at today, in my opinion. Victor really killed it. This is a guy who shows that he's passionate about a franchise. I wish I could say the same. Anyways, Victor, perfect 5. This is incredible. Every single person commented on saying it was incredible. You can even see Oval replying saying it looks incredible. 18 likes for a reason. Victor, you're killing it, my dude. Perfect 5 from me. Alright, Skylander Fan 7 sent along his setup. This looks like a coffee table full of Skylanders. Can't say much, I did that. And he wanted to do a highlight, which is Tree Rex's favorite, and the clear shortcut. I didn't even know that was a thing, so that's really cool. I absolutely love that. This is a really good collection of Skylanders. This is just showing off how many awesome figures that you can have, and such a good variety from all the games. Is it all the games? Yeah, Supercharged there. Actually, is Imaginators there? I don't see Imaginators. If I miss it, just let me know. But I do like this. This is a very simple setup. This is how most people play it. They have all their Skylers just kind of in a little space so they can play with them whenever they want to, switch out whenever they need. This is what I did when I first started. I literally had a shelf that had all my Skylers just kind of piled up onto it. So I really do like this setup. This is going to get a simple 3 out of 5 from me because, again, it's not really a setup, but it shows you all the Skylers that you love, and I absolutely like that. So thank you so much, Skylanders Fan 7, for sending this along. And hey, shout out to that clear shortcut. I didn't even know it was a thing. So Moro Rex 4883 sent along his setup, and I gotta say, this is a very, very good setup. This is the definition of a Skylanders fan who doesn't have a lot of space to work with, but makes it work amazing. This is one of the coolest ones. I love the little background he got set up. He literally made a background. It looks hand-painted, actually, because if you look at the top, it looks like there's paint smears on the top. So I think this was hand-painted, which is honestly super cool. I love the 2 actual setups where you have the little toy sets, which I don't even have any of those toy sets. So you can have your Skylander figures on top there, and of course the Skylanders in the front. I even like on the front, he has the little looks like the actual stickers or the actual things from the packs themselves, including Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, and the newest Crash Bandicoot game. So that's pretty cool. He made something like this completely from scratch. Scratch right in front, actually. I'm giving this a perfect 5 because the artistic detail to making a background that looks like it's hand-painted is super cool, and it looks really good, especially with the space you had. Just one tiny shelf. Just imagine that one black shelf over there containing this. Super cool. So Maro, perfect 5, buddy. So my friend Stupified sent it along. Now, as I mentioned, not a lot of people have insane setups, but as you can see, this is a way to do it, and I think this is a super easy way to do it. If you look on the front, he has all the Skylanders listed, so you know which are which and where to find them super easy. I like this. If you don't have a lot of space, this is a great way to do it. So that's why another reason I wanted to show this. Again, this is really a setup, but this is to show that you don't need to have the most elaborate setups to be able to post something like this or put it online. Stu is a friend of mine. He reached out to me recently. I'm part of a collab that he has coming up pretty soon, talking about my favorite Skylander. I wonder who that is. So I wanted to show this purposely because of the fact that this is very simple, and this is only the top. So like, imagine there's a bunch of other ones that he has. So whatever you store your Skylanders in, it's possible. I really like this one. Thanks for sending it along, Stupified. Actually, at Real Stupified, sorry. Alright, weird flex, but okay, Skylander Gamer TV. So Skylander Gamer TV, of course, is a friend of mine. This is his setup, very, very sleek. I really like this one. It's just a very simple setup. It looks really nice. I love the collector's box on the corner. That's one thing I never actually seen. If you look in the bottom right hand there, that's actually the thing that you would get, say, if you go to Walmart or Toys R Us, that Skylander figures are in. So you could have got them from there. Looks really good. I like the bins on the bottom too, so you can have a couple extras in there. Of course, he has one of his favorite Skylanders, his rarest one, the blackout, still in the box, hung up on the wall. You got his Trap Masters on the top there. This is a very, very clean setup. The only thing, and this just irks me because this is who I am as a person, is the light on the bottom doesn't connect. And I know why, because you need to be able to connect it somewhere. But I'm just like, I need that. OCD. I still think this is a great setup. I'm giving this a solid 4 out of 5 just because that light at the bottom. But for all realism, Skylander Gaming TV is a great SkyTuber. Definitely go check him out. He is one of the ones that's one of the fastest growing I've seen in my entire time doing YouTube over these like 7 years. So yeah, definitely go check him out. And of course, this setup is pretty fire. Just fix that light at the bottom before I get mad. I already did. Whatever. Next, we have Primo Peak. He's only been collecting for the last year, and honestly, really good. This is a very simple setup, of course, just like I mentioned before with Moro, how he only has one little area to kind of work with, and it still works great. Of course, you can do a little more decoration or something to make it a little bit crazier if you wanted to, like to make it a little bit of a background, but it looks very good. I do like the fact that you're using Pokemon tins to put, I noticed, don't worry, using to have the Skylanders up higher so you can see better. I never even thought about doing that because I always figured out from behind me with my rare Skylanders still in the box, I want to have a way to kind of elevate the vehicles in the back. That's a good way to do it. Pokemon tins. I have one. I'm not using it. It's just full of Pokemon cards, but that's a good way to do it. So, I mean, improvising with what you have is something awesome, and this looks very good. Very simple, sleek setup. I'm going to give this a solid 4 out of 5 just because of that, too. It's really good. It shows all your Skylanders. I really like this one. So next up, we have Sheriff Crazy, aka Sheriff Skylands. He has so much, it's hard to display. 2 pictures here, and I got to show you both of them. Look at this initial setup. Look how nice that looks. What an awesome shelving unit. I would love to have a shelving unit like that. If you're watching, Sheriff, send me a direct message or an email or something. I would love to know where you got this shelf unit because I absolutely love this. Probably IKEA. I don't have an IKEA here, unfortunately. It looks so cool, and of course, a big shout out to that Chompy on the top. Looks like it's a custom made one. I've never seen anything like that, and I love the fact that you have that little Lazy Susan spindle looking thing that has your Traptanium crystals on it. Super cool. And of course, we go to the next photo. This is a better viewing of his elites that he has, all still in the box. The Joker Persona Amiibo, fire, dude. He got initial setups too. He also got Shantae for the limited run Game Boy edition. Lightning Star, if you're watching. But I really like this. This is a very awesome setup. Even shows his games. Definitely one of the best I've seen. That shelving unit alone, this thing, is what I love. I think this is amazing. This is getting a perfect 5 for me because this is such a beautiful looking setup. Definitely one of the best ones we've seen today for sure. Not saying anyone else's is bad, but this one is pretty great. So yeah, seriously, let me know where you got that shelf. So next one is from King Boo ZX3. As you can see, this is another one of the ones where I wanted to show off that you don't need anything elaborate for a setup. I have one of these things. It's where my PlayStation 3 is sitting right now. It's full of junk. I don't use it for Skylander stuff. But this is a good way to do it. He has everything set up where you know exactly what Skylander is which. If you open that top drawer, you're going to get a Spyro's Adventure. You open that middle one, you're going to get Giants. One at the bottom, you're going to get Swap Force. All of his traps and portals, everything put aside. Looks great. I absolutely love this because it's easy to find everything. He doesn't even need to have it labeled. You can look in, you see a Giant, you know that's a Giant bin. I really like this one. I'm actually considering this a setup, so I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Of course, the setups we're looking at, we need like the giant shells and stuff, but this is a very simple way to show off your Skylanders and be able to keep them all tracked to know which ones you want and where to get them super easy. If that's something like this for the Chosen Lock, it'll be a million times easier. Don't worry, Chosen Lock will be returning. Alright, we got 3 photos from the Alpha Apple 0 or O, I'm not sure. He's been collecting since he was 5 years old, which makes me really old. So we got a couple setups. It looks like these are all in drawers, so they're easy to pull out to take a look. I like this because of the fact that it shows the Skylander super easy. You just pull it open, you can see your Skylander, take it out and go. And he has a couple more here too. This is a bigger drawer. Looks like he has all of his Giants and his Swap Force characters in there, which is a pretty big collection. And of course, you got your Trap Team, your Superchargers. Only got a handful of Imaginators there. It looks like I see Flare Wolf, or am I missing him? I just can't see him. Probably. See, this thing is a lot of people look at me like, it's kind of cluttered. Oh, I see Robo. He's got Robo. Shout out to Robo. So a lot of people might look at this and say, it's a little bit cluttered. I'm not really a big fan of that. I think this works. I think it's very simple. You can pull out a drawer. You know exactly what Skylander you're going to get, especially if you know where they are. So like if you're being like, hey, where's your Spyro's Adventure character? It's like, oh, top left drawer. You just pull it out, and there you go. You can take it wherever you want. The Boy Bash is in there, so extra bonus points for that. I like this one. Very simple. Looks fine to me. I think this is a pretty easy setup there. I do like how he shows off his games too. This is a really good one. I'm going to give this a solid, let's say 3 out of 5 because a shelving unit would be able to show him off a little bit better, but you use what you got, and I think this is really great. This is a good way to do it. Again, it's not going to embarrass you guys to have something like this. I think this is a fantastic one. Mystic Sam Rush says he has a poop setup, but it's his poop setup, and that's getting you a perfect 5. That's just confidence right there. The fact that you're just like, my setup sucks. Here you go. I'm going to give you a perfect 5 because of your pure confidence for saying that. I do like this. It's a very simple setup, as I mentioned before, with shelves. You just put your Skylanders on the shelf, show off who you want. This works. So Mystic Sam Rush, it may be poop setup, but you just got a perfect 5, dude. Congrats. Everyone else who got like 3s, are you serious? It's confidence. That's all that matters. Don't take these ratings seriously. I'm just a smelly SkyTuber on the internet. I really should have showered today. So this one is from Randomness, and I do remember the collection you showed me on your other accounts. Now he did do a collection of what the Skylanders are, and like they're not set up as in like games and stuff. I think this is a very awesome setup. The top shelves are his favorite Skylanders. The middle ones are for Imagineers and Speedrun, and the bottom left is rare, and bottom right is guilty pleasure Skylanders. You didn't need to explain it because of the fact that it's your setup. And you don't need to explain why things are set up. Unless someone asks me, like, why are they set up like that? That's what I go as. This setup is awesome. I do like this setup by the looks of it, if I'm not mistaken. That shelving used to be drawers. Because I remember I had one something before, you take out the drawers and it has a little spot in the bottom. If it isn't, that's still cool. I do like the fact that this is just an initial setup thing. I think it looks really cool. I love the little stuffed Gil Grunts on the top. Hex still in the box, a couple of elites. It has little bits of sprinkling of you in it too, along with Skylander stuff. Plus, there's a cool clock you got down there. Yeah, I was calling it your clock. I like it. This is a really good setup. Very simple. Nothing crazy, but I'm going to give you a perfect 5 for this one because you made your setup you. And that's what I like about it. It's not just your Skylanders thrown all willy-nilly. You had a Skylander collection, and you also told us why you set up as it is. Now, of course, if you didn't leave that comment explaining why, I might have been like, oh yeah, the Skylander setup looks great. But you gave us a reason why it's so cool. So that's perfect 5 for me. Alright, I'm sorry if I pronounced this name completely wrong, but it's Frenek Jednarog. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Very simple setup. I love this. It's just a shelving unit that opens up. I don't know if you guys noticed that. There's 2 glass things on the side where it can open up. So it's a perfect way to keep dust out of your collection. My friend Scott, Strike Hero Camo has that set up too. I love that. Just the fact that if you have something to close, it keeps dust out. So it keeps your Skylanders dust free. Very awesome setup. As you can see, every game represented on the shelf itself. Got some elites there and a couple Skylanders thrown on the top still in the box. Kickoff Countdown still in the box? That's rare, my dude. Very awesome setup. I love the fact with the closing doors. I'm not sure if this is a custom setup you made or if this is like a shelving you got from somewhere. Still super awesome. I really like this one. Could use a little bit of color. That's the only thing I say about it. And again, take everything I say with a grain of salt. I'm going to give this a very solid 5 out of 5 because I just love the initial setup. I love the fact that the doors close. It's a really nice looking setup and it's very simple. You don't need anything crazy. But again, the color just makes a little meh, says the guy back here with like nothing. Alright, from a good friend of mine, SBG Gabe, sending along his collection. Of course, he has everything in the world. Gabe is probably the most I love everything person I've ever met. As you can see by his setup. If you look really close, there's Skylanders in there, I promise. But he has everything from like Marvel, Transformers, Minecraft, Lego. He's a big Lego dude, I know that. So this is his first initial setup. Of course, he got some Imaginators right in the middle here along that middle shelf. If you go to the next photo, you can see some of his Skylanders put away. Spiral's Adventure are in this little drawer, so they're easy to get whenever you need it, which is cool. And of course, everything else is in the closet, put on a little container. I can't say much about containers. I have all my Skylanders put away in these tubs, you know. So I like this. It's super easy to be able to grab the Skylanders, especially if you don't have all the room. Now, of course, someone's going to pop up being like, what are you talking about? He has all this room. Why is he not putting his Skylanders on it? Because he wants to express who he is. Now, every shelf I have behind me, I could put all the Skylanders on there, but it doesn't show who you are as a person. And that's what I love about this. Gabe, this is fantastic. You are a friend of mine too, so like, I like it. This is going to get a perfect 5 for me because this shows your setup. And it shows you that you don't need to have the initial setup to have your Skylanders in a good collection. I think this is great. Gabe, you did awesome, buddy. So I wanted to show this one because G-Star, the first one, literally said, here's mine from the same year. It's the same pretty much. There's 5 Skylanders on here. Oh, 6. I just noticed Flashwing. I like this. This is very simple. You don't need to have anything crazy to have a setup. And I love that little squirrel that looks like he's about to fart on the birdhouse. I love that. That's something I love. Real cheeky humor like that is something I like. He also has custom Skylanders, which is pretty cool. I really like the fact that you have custom Skylanders made out of, like, I think clay, if I'm not mistaken. Really cool. The janky birdhouse and cement squirrel are not mine, by the way. You just lost like 8 points for that. You're telling me farting squirrel is not yours? Own up to it. It's yours now. This is very simple. You don't need anything crazy to play Skylanders, and that's exactly what it is. And I like this. So we're not going to rate this one just because, again, it's not a crazy setup, but I do like this. It just shows who you are, and everybody plays differently. So my good friend Bumble Blaster YouTube TV Limited etc. continuation has all the Skylanders put away in these tubs. They're actually in drawers built into his desk, which is very simple. If he's playing Skylanders, he can just go, out comes the Skylander, and I like that. So he has them all put away in these little drawers in his desk. Very simple. You can find whatever Skylander you need in each drawer. And he also has a little setup here to the side with his shelves. I think that's pretty cool. It's a very simple setup. It's nothing crazy. I do like this one. Now, however, of course, the giant shelving unit would work great, but of course, you don't really have the time to do all that. So, of course, I'm going to give this a solid 3 out of 5 because the shelving unit would make it look awesome, but, I mean, you'll get it one of these days, Bumble Blaster. I believe in you, buddy. So, Mike Annoyed, for some reason, decided to send me how many food fights he has. Why? How'd you manage that? I'm just more confused than anything. Thank you? Krith King 2001, a good friend of mine on the channel. He's been here for the longest time. Love his setup. Very simple. It looks really good. Of course, just like I mentioned, the other one could use a little bit more color, but if you look, he has all of his colors kind of organized. On the top, he has all red and all blue, water and fire. Looks really good. Very simple setup. Looks like it's one of those things that you can easily put like like a door in front, so you can keep out the dust, as I mentioned. Very cool setup, one of my favorites for sure. Krith King, this is a great little setup. Of course, a little bit of color can make it a tiny bit better, so I'm going to give it a solid 4 out of 5. Get a door on it, or a little glass thing, it'll help you a lot. Now, if there is a glass thing on this and I can't see, perfect, 5 out of 5 though. So I'm So Cool and Cool sent this along, and you know the worst part? If he didn't mention that the bracket was missing, I wouldn't have noticed it. There's a bracket right in the middle missing for anyone who doesn't know. I love these shelves. In my last place I lived in, before I just moved to this one, there was a little spot in the spare room that had shelves that had those brackets, and honestly, that would have been an awesome spot to set up the Skylanders, but it wasn't a good location for me to film because the echo was too kind of gross in it. This is a good way to show your Skylanders. Very simple. It shows all the Skylanders you have, which ones you like the most are going to be in the front, which ones in the back. It's very simple. He still has an Astro Blast in the box. Sick. This is a great little setup. You don't need anything crazy to show off. This is going to get a solid 4 out of 5 from me because I do love shelving units. It's an easy way to show off your Skylanders. Of course, if you don't have the option for it, that's fine, but I still like this, and this is a really cool one, even though you're missing one of those brackets. You shouldn't have said anything. I wouldn't have noticed. Alright, we're at the second last one. It is AP Mix Y2, YouTube YT App Mix, maybe? I'm not sure if he goes by App Mix, but it's AP Mix, whatever you like to call it. I like this. It says it's not much, but it gets the work done. I agree. This is exactly what you need. It's a great setup. You can easily use your Wii to hook up there. Pokemon Legends Arceus on the bottom. Great game, hey? Well, crud, one of the best games I've ever played. But this is a good way to do it. This is an easy way to take your Skylanders, be able to put them on the portal and use them. They're only right up above. Shout out to your Quick Shot Rattle Shake. Or Quick Draw Rattle Shake. I don't have that one. So this is a really cool setup. I like this. It's easy to grab your Skylanders. Legendary Bash right in the front. Extra points for that. Very clean, very simple, solid 4 out of 5 for me for that one, AP Mix. I don't ever pronounce your name. I'm really bad at names, I'm sorry. And our last one, I'm not sure why this person sent it along. I guess it's confidence. It's weird. It's not a good setup. That's why I'm literally going to call them out in this video, because I just think this one is horrible. I don't know why they sent this along. It's from @CrashRowsell on Twitter. Sent us a copy of their setup. Looks bland. Like, come on, this is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. It's literally just these boring gray shelves on the side with this little thing in the middle, and like, ooh, we got pictures on the wall, congrats. Like, what is that thing, top 5 in the middle of YouTube or something? You think you're, like, super famous? Like, what is this? It's stupid. It looks so gross. It's one of the worst setups I think I've ever seen in the history of anything in the world. And, like, he probably thinks he's the greatest thing of all time. He probably thinks he can make videos ranking other people's setups. Like, no, I do that. Not Crash Rowsell. I do that. Like, come on. This could be so much better. There's so much room for potential. Imagine having those shelves on the wall that I mentioned earlier. You could have that. But, like, come on. I think this is -1 out of 5. One of the worst I think I've ever seen in the history of this ever. Anything. Gross. Try again. Dummy. So that's going to do it for this ranking your setup video. This is a very long one. I actually had to stop the video in between to take off some of the video files because it was just filling up so much. So I hope you guys stuck through the whole thing, and I hope I gave you guys justified ratings. Remember, do not take my ratings as serious. Of course, I will give you little ideas to maybe help you and make it look a little bit better. But again, don't take these 100% seriously. This is me just ranking your setups. I love seeing it though. It's always cool to see how everybody plays differently. If you want to be in a future video with this, let me know in the comments below if you want to see more of this. And also follow me on Twitter at CrashRowsell. Wait, that was me. That setup was me. It's okay now, I guess. 5 out of 5. 7 out of 5. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, let me leave a like and a comment below, and come back in a couple weeks' time for another awesome video. Every Tuesday sounds like a half hour though, just saying. All my Skylanders are put away in these tubs. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all next week or the other week for another awesome video. Y'all mean the world to me. Don't ever forget it. But as always, I bid you farewell.